Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my stream. Um, this is going to be a two-part video if I can make it to, if I can do a two-part, but I mean, this definitely might be a part two video. Well, not this video is part one. It's part one of objects, and then there might be another video that's part two, or we might just get everything done in this live stream. I don't know, because we have just video challenge, video challenge, video challenge, then a review, and then project. And then if I get done with that project early, then we can move on to object-oriented design, which I think is a part two. But I feel like the objects tie into the object-oriented design thing. But let's click on it. So it's gonna be video challenge, video challenge, video challenge, review, but there's no project for that. So I may just get this done. So it's 8:52 for me right now, and so okay. It's 8:52. I have about 2 hours, which would bring me into. Actually, I may have an hour because I have to done with this live stream by 10. So I think we just have an hour. Okay, this might be one. So object type. Wait, what am I doing? Okay, intro to objects. Let's watch this video. It's 5 minutes 25 seconds. The other video is 4 minutes. This other one is 6 minutes, and those are like about I don't know. But let's just watch this video and then do the challenge. Watch another video, do another challenge. Keep on doing that process until we get to the very end of this lesson, and then do the project. And then yeah, because tomorrow I don't have school because it's weekend. It's happy weekend, and it is a Friday, which I did have school today. So yeah, let's go.
I've written a program to tell you juicy details about Winston, but not too much because Winston likes to keep some mystery. That's just the Winston way. So let's see how I did this program. I created some variables at the top to store bits of information about him. The first variable holds a number, his age. The second variable holds a string, his eyes. The third variable holds an array of strings, which are things he likes doing. And the last two variables hold strings which describe where he was born. Then down here, I wrote each of these out using the text command and just using the variable name. And of course, for the array, I have to access each element of the array using bracket notation. Cool. Now, all 5 of these variables are describing information about the same thing, Winston. But the variables don't know that they're about the same thing. And, you know, in JavaScript, when we want to store multiple pieces of information that are related, we have a better way of storing them that's really cool, and it's called an object. So what it means is that instead of 5 variables, we could have a single variable that stores all this information, which is pretty cool. Let's try it out with Winston's information. First, we'll declare the variable, and we'll call it Winston. And then we put an open curly bracket, make sure it's curly, not square, and a semicolon. So we've created an object, but it has absolutely no information inside of it. So to add a bit of information, we need to add properties, and each property is a key and a value. For example, age would be age 19. Okay, and then for eyes, we're going to add a comma. and then eyes, black. Okay, cool. So now Winston has two properties inside the object. For likes, we can just get likes, and then I'll just copy paste this from up here. Very nice. So let's look at this. Winston has three properties. Every property has a key, which is what's on the left-hand side, and a value, which is what's on the right-hand side. For the key, it should follow the same rules as JavaScript variable names. No spaces, started with a letter, all that. For the value, it could be any type of value we've seen so far. It could be number, it could be string, it could be array, it could even be a Boolean. So we can add is cool, true, of course. In fact, the value could even be another object. So birth city and birth state. Those really are bits of information about the same thing, which is a single location. And so I think it'd make more sense if we stored it as an object. I'll add another key, birthplace, and then for the value, I'm going to put my curly brackets again. And then inside, I'll have key for city, say Mountain View, and then state, California. Great. So now you can see you can really store very rich information inside an object. All right, so now that we have this nice object that describes all this information about Winston, let's try deleting those old separate variables that didn't know about each other. Okay, so now we've got an error, and that's because our text commands are referencing the old variables. We need to update them to use the information from the object instead. Let's start with just commenting out the last three so that we can do one at a time. Okay, so it says Winston Age right now. What we need to do is replace that. So we'll type Winston, because that's a variable name. Notice if we just leave it like that, it says object. That's really gross. That's JavaScript telling us that we're trying to turn an entire object into a string value. But instead, we really just want to access only the age inside of it. So what we do is we put a dot, and then we write the property key, which is age. Ta-da! We have the age. We call this dot notation, which is where we write the variable name for the object, and then a dot, and then the property key. Okay, so we can go and do more now. Let's uncomment this, and then instead of Winston eyes, we'll just say Winston.eyes. And then for this one, it'll be Winston.likes, and then Winston.likes1. And then for this last one, it's a little more complicated because it's an object inside an object. So we're going to say Winston, and then dot, birthplace. But if we do that, it's still just the whole object. So then we'd have to say dot, city. Okay, let's do this here. Winston, dot, birthplace, dot, state. Ta-da! So it's really cool because you can just reach down inside the objects that are in the objects. All right. Awesome. So as you can see, objects are a great way to store a bunch of related bits of information about an object and then be able to access it later. And when you keep going, you're going to find out just how awesome objects are.
Okay, so she talked about objects, how you can make very like multiple variables into one using a bit more lines of code, but it works. So now we're going to do a challenge. Recipe card. So you guys can do this on your own. If you click the link in the description, it should show like the code, like it should say if you want to code on Coding Academy, then click this link or something like that. You guys can click the link, do the challenge, yada yada. I'm gonna do it right now, and before you guys start, if you're gonna start the challenge, there's gonna be a hint. Recipes. So there's a hint. What's this? It shows what you need to type, but the only stuff you need to add is in dotted lines or in colored text box, like colored boxes, um, like the or you need to change what's already added. Like if you see on recipe title, if you can see, if you if you can see var recipe title right there, it's actually written right here. So we need to change bread to something else, and then recipe servings um, to well something else, and then recipe ingredients to something else. So what a boring recipe is, change the title and the ingredients to one of your favorite recipes. Though you may want to simplify it a bit. So I think we're just changing bread and the recipe ingredients and then the serving size for it. But yeah, I'll be um, I'll be working on that. Once we do that, then we're going to go and yeah, do the next thing. Now, if you see the orange box, you need to put something else in it. So var something equals title, servings, ingredients. So it should be var recipe, um, and then the title, which is the recipe title, which is pizza, the servings, which is 6, and the ingredients, which are right here. So we're gonna do the same thing that the other person did. That is her name Pamela? Yeah, Pamela. Whatever Pamela did to that. Keeps on saying next step and stuff whenever I click off of it, so that's why it's showing that way. But let's just start a new line of code. Var. Well, you guys can do this part, and you can do it step by step, or you can create your own recipe and stuff for that. But yeah, So we got to the last part. Now we can just remove these, but we're going to remove them at the end after we fix this code down here. Which the only things we need to do is do the title, the servings, the ingredients. So recipe dot title. Don't forget to display the number of servings for your recipe using dot notation like in hint code. Property name has to match exactly. So recipe, okay. Recipe dot title, recipe dot servings, and recipe dot ingredients. Ingredients. So we did it. We finished the challenge. Let's test it out, and I'm gonna just copy this so that yep, see, it's out. So I cut it because I wanted to make sure that it was okay. Because if it wasn't okay, I could just paste it back into there and then see what was wrong. So now we earn 1,500 points. I currently have, I don't know how many points. Like I know I have 100,000 or so points, but that was because I did a lot in like coding. So now we're gonna modify the objects and then do. Hey guys, sorry that was I had to do something real quick, but we are going to watch the video. But first, I'm gonna show you what I found. It was from a couple months ago. Let's see, where is my camera? Oh yeah, here it is. It's a balloon. If you don't know what that is. Guess it wants the code for me. It's blue. It's sky blue. But yeah. Let's get back to coding. Oh, you actually can't see it. Okay, let's just put this down. This pops on me, then I'm just, I don't know. Okay, guys, I am definitely going to, YouTube is not, okay, not receiving enough data, enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Okay, so let's just watch this video, and yeah.
And we're back. This time, our program has the Winston object, but we're only displaying the age of Winston. That's because I want to show you how we could change Winston's age, because eventually Winston has to get older. Let's remember what it'd be like if we were just using simple variables. We have var Winston age equals 19, and then if we wanted to change it, we would say Winston age equals 20, and that would change the value stored in that variable. It's really, really similar for object properties. We can just say Winston.age equals 20, and then we've changed the value stored in the age property of the Winston object. Cool. So let's see if that worked. We'll take our text command, put it below, change the Y. Ta-da! Winston got older. So easy. Okay, so now let's try, we were just adding 1 here. Let's do that more programmatically. Let's say Winston.age equals Winston.age plus 1. So what we're saying here is take the previous value of his age, add 1 to it, and then store it in the age property. And that should just end up adding 1 to whatever the previous value was. Let's see. Display it. Ha-da-da! He's 21. Getting so old. All right, now remember we have a shortcut for adding 1 to variables. And the same shortcut works with object properties. So we can say Winston.age plus plus. And let's see if that worked. Yep, and that really just did exactly the same thing as this line. It's just a shortcut so that we don't have to type as much. Now, if we look at all this, this really looks like the situation for a loop. We keep on using the same code over and over, and the only thing we're changing is we're adding 1 to his age, and we're changing the Y position so it's on a different line. So if we use the loop, it could be really easy to show him getting older and older and older and not have to use that much code. Let's say we'll make a loop to show Winston getting to 40 years old. He doesn't want to get any older than that because then he'd be wrinkly and we'd have to call him Wrinkleston. All right, so we'll do a while loop and we'll say while Winston.age is less than or equal to 40. And then inside here, we're going to display his age and we're going to add 1 to his age each time. Okay, that worked, but everything is piled on top of each other. So we need to change the Y position each time. And we'll just do Winston.age times 20 minus 200. minus 300. Okay. And we'll just minus 350. All right, that looks good. Let's delete the old stuff here. Ta-da! Now we can see Winston getting older and older, but not so old that he'll be a Wrinkleston. Okay, so now we can see how to change the age. We can also add additional information in the Winston object as he gets older. Like maybe when he turns 30, he'll meet another programmer named Winifred, and he'll marry her. And no, he's not just going to marry her because she has such a great name. So what we can do is we can add a property by just saying Winston dot, and then the new property key, which will be wife, equals Winifred. Great, but we only want him to have this wife when he's at a good marrying age. So we'll say equals 30, and we'll go and move that inside here. Great. So now he has a wife, so, they're happy, and then they have some kids a couple years later. So maybe when they're 32, we'll add some kids to the object to keep track of that. And they have twins, of course, because they're very productive. And Winston's twins will be named, of course, Winston Jr. and Winstonia. Beautiful. It's a great family, great set of names. So you can see we can add new properties that are strings and arrays and anything we could have had in the original object. And so once this loop finishes, Winston.age will be 40, and Winston will have a wife who's Winifred and a twins, which is an array of 2 names. That's an awesome loop. But hey, if you don't like how this story ends for Winston, you could always spin off this program and tell your own story of his future, now that you know all about how to change object properties.
Okay, so that was modifying objects. So challenge, picture painter. Okay, so it's a leaf. It's the Khan Academy leaf. Well, it's one of the leaves because there's 2 leaves, and then there's a circle in the middle, which is the plant. Like this is there's 2 leaves, the flower or whatever that's on it. So var paintbrush, and then X, and then Y, and image, get image, and that's what I should do. So paintbrush. Oh wait a minute. It says this program uses an object to describe a paintbrush with an X, Y, and image properties. Change the initial X and Y, pick a different image that'll be fun to paint with. If you want to see all images, then use click on the string, pass to get image equal, and then the handy image picker will appear. So here it is, not red leaf. You make sure you change the. So that means I'm gonna just have to change this around to like 133, and then this. Make it paint. Now you'll actually make this program paint. Add mouse moved function that changes the paintbrush X and Y properties based on the current mouse position using mouse X, mouse Y variables. Calls the painting function paint canvas. So, let's see. I'm gonna have to create a mouse moved equals function, then paintbrush dot X, and then paintbrush dot Y, and then equals mouse X and mouse Y. So, I know what to do with this. So let's see. So let's see. Mouse moved equal. That's a plus. equals function and then that. Okay, now let's do paint brush. Also, whenever you're doing these activities, make sure you spell everything correctly, or else it won't work. So that's my quick tip to you. So x and then equals mouse x and then semicolon, go down, paint. So before we do it, then it's probably gonna, so mouse move, my mouse is moving right now, it's not doing anything because we have to finish it first. So okay, now paint brush dot y equals mouse y. That, now that you're setting a new position for your image, call the paint canvas function inside the mouse move to paint the image on the canvas. So now all I'm doing is I'm just gonna copy and paste this paint canvas thing from here to there, and now it's not doing anything. Huh, that's weird. Print canvas. I think that I have to get rid of these two, right? Paint canvas. Let's see. Paint canvas was used before. Was the, oh, okay. I think that I have to do what I'm gonna cut it that way. Show me where. Okay. So paint canvas. You know what? Check the documentation if you're not sure how to use mouse move. So let's just check documentation just because. So the mouse moves function called when mouse is moved. I mean, I think that this should go below, but let's see. I'm gonna type end. Oh, that's the end of that one. See, now we got it. We just had to place it in a different area. So look at this. We're just painting in this leaf. Painting this leaf around. It's red, which is my favorite color. That's why I picked this image. And now it's just going to paint a bunch of leaves whenever I get it. I will be back in a minute. Okay, guys, I'm back on. My mom had to shave me. Okay. So yes, I said that we were able to draw that, but we could also change it to anything else. Like, let's see, we can change it to Winston. We can draw Winston all around. I mean, you can't, you can't get enough of Winston, right? That would be, yeah. There's so much Winstons around, or Winstons. Or you can use the baby Winston that for some reason was here. So now, okay. So now let's actually do a blank, and then no, not a blank. Let's um let's do some hearts. Wait, I can actually restart the SC. Now we can do hearts because it's like restart. It says restart as like it's an animation, but it's not. Okay, so now let's do array of objects. I was just getting my carried away. This doesn't look like Winston. This looks weird, Winston. These are like weird Winstons. They look weird. But yeah, I'm gonna mute my mic so we can watch the video and do the challenge and then review and then do the project. Which I feel like the projects are like tests, but different, like way different.
Let's keep exploring what we can do with objects. We're back with a program that we used in the functions tutorial. This program has this draw Winston function, which knows how to draw Winston at a certain x and y. And then down here, we call draw Winston 4 times, each with a different set of x and y coordinates. Well, you know me. When I look at those 4 draw Winston calls that are so similar looking, all I can think about is how much better it would be if we could use a loop and just call it one time inside the loop, changing the x and y in each iteration of the loop. So to do that, we need to find a way to store these x and y positions in an array so that we can loop through it. Well, we have 2 sets of values, so what we could do is have 2 arrays, one for x positions and one for y positions. So x positions, we might have 99, 294, 101, and 294. And y positions, we'll have 117, 117, 316, 316. Okay, and now we can loop through those with our for loop, var equals 0, I is less than x positions dot length, I plus plus. So we're going through each element in x positions, and we'll say draw Winston, x positions, i's, and y positions, I. Okay, so let's see if that worked by deleting. All right, that worked. So now we can actually just call this, we just have this one line of code that does draw Winston, but it does it for every position in the x positions array. So we could go and add more to this by saying like 10, and then we add 1, and then we add 1, and then 1, and then 100, and 1. Now it's getting to look a little bit messy, and I don't like it because it's really hard for me to see which x's relate to which y's. I want to kind of be just able to look at a glance and know what my xy pairs are, instead of having to make sure that I perfectly line them up above each other, like this maybe. So I want to find a different way of storing these positions. Now, one idea is that we could actually store them as objects, because think about it, each position is really 2 bits of information, the x and the y. So we could have an object which has x and y properties, and then we could have an array of objects with all these x, y positions. So let's do that. We'll say var positions equals, and this is going to be an array as well, but each element instead of being a number, is going to be an object. So here we have our curly brackets, and then we're just going to say x, 99, y, 117. Okay, so now we have one of our positions in here. And then we'll go add another one. Oops, add another one here. All right, x should be 294, 117. Okay, the third one is going to be 101, 316. And the final one is 294 and 316. Okay, so now we have an array of objects where each object has x and y properties in it. And so down here in our for loop, we'll just change this to iterate through positions.length, and then we'll pass in the object. Now, right now it's passing the entire object, but we want to pass the x and the y. So we need positions I.x and positions I.y. Ta-da! Now we can get rid of these old clustered arrays. Great. So this looks a lot nicer to me and makes the code much more readable. And anytime we can have more readable code, it's better. And it also makes it easier to add. So if I want to add one, I'll actually add the pair together. And then we can say, x 200, y 200, get a little Winston in the middle there. Cool. Now I want to show you something even fancier than this. Notice how our function right now accepts 2 numbers and then uses those 2 numbers. Well, we could change our function so that it expects an object and then it gets the x and y from that object. Meaning that down here, we could just pass the object. Let's try that. So we pass the object. Now it's broken. That's because our function still is expecting 2 objects and it's only getting 1. So we'll change it to say it's getting face position. And now we get an error, which is face x is not defined, because before we were passing in face x as an argument, but now it doesn't exist. We're only getting an object. So what we could do is actually save the x position from the object inside the face x variable. So we're saying, okay, we got this object. We know this object has an x property, so we're just going to store that into the face x variable. And then we could do the same thing with y. So face y equals face position dot y. Ta-da! And then, the rest of the function, it uses face x and face y. Now we have to make sure we spell them correctly. If we did xx, it's not going to work because that's not what it is down here in our array of objects. So it needs to match. But this is pretty neat because now you can have arrays of objects, you can have functions that take in objects, and you'll really find that your programs can be very powerful with the way that they structure their data, and especially since it's so often to want to pair x and y together. I think you'll find them especially useful in all your drawing and animation programs here. So go to it and have fun.
Okay, so we just watched this video. Now we're gonna do the challenge. You can do the challenge by yourself, or you can listen to me. Well, not listen, but follow along what I do. Because I'm probably just gonna mute my mic. But before I do that, just hint again. Use the hints. The text size, that text that. So that's changing this. Wait, no. Actually, yeah, that's change. Is that changing? Yeah, it's changing this. The text movie titles 250. It says 80, so I think I should change it to that 8, like the 50 to that 8. But yeah, that's step 1 out of 3, and yeah. So I think that I need to create one of these, so let's do it. So text size, I'll just say 20 again with that, and then text. They're just trying to make me use the review, the movies.review, movies.review, and comma 200 comma 80, and was this seems like instead you have to select a movie object from the movies array first using brackets notation. Oh, okay, so movies, the bracket, the one bracket. Is that good? Because I don't see it. I cannot read the property of review of undefined. Let's see. Wait, it's at 0. What? Okay, getting closer, moving forward. So add a second movie now. Add another movie to array. Uh, uh, these are examples, so don't think these are actual movies. Like if they're actual movies, then sure. But I don't think they're actual movies. They're just using them as examples. So don't think. Oh, I mean, you could Google that, but I don't know. So hint, what's this? So now, so add a second movie. So hint, what's this? It just shows what they did, and then the title, that, review, that. Oh, so that means that I just need to change some of this top stuff. So I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to do this, comma, and then they did another bracket, and then title, that, then space, comma, review, space, comma, and then the actual bracket. So the review, let's say title, review, those two. Let's see, the comma, I don't need the comma. At. Okay, there's an L nose stuff. So title, let's just think of a movie title. What movie title should I do? So, um, um, okay, I think I thought of one. Hunter Call of the Wild, which I know that there's a Call of the Wild movie, which I'm going to search up right now. So Call yep, the Call of the Wild. It's 2020 film. It's amazing. So let's just change it to the Call of the Wild, and that should be a string so that it can be text. And then in the comma, then we'll do a review, which I think, Yeah. Okay, we'll do a review, which it is super super awesome movie. Brilliant, ready for more. So I think that they just got us to just write the title review, and I think we're gonna do this, but we're gonna do it another way. So I'm gonna just copy, and then we're gonna paste it down here, but we're gonna make movie dot title. So one and one. I think I know what they're trying to do here. So the text. So 200. I think it's 200 is in the middle of the page. Yeah. Okay. So 80. Now I should move down to 150, and this I should just move down to 130. Well, not 130. The 120. Okay. Next. So now, now we're gonna display them all. Now you're gonna get both of your movies displaying. Use a for loop to iterate through the array and execute the text commands for each movie. If you don't remember how to iterate through arrays, rewatch the previous talk through and or looping through arrays. So we just have to do for, var, and then all that stuff. Fill, text align, text size, all that stuff. And then we're done with that. So it's not going to be just, so it's not going to be that. So we don't need that. So, let's see. A for var variable. 200 comma something times something plus something. So the var. Okay, I'm a little confused with this. I mean, I know what they're trying to show us to do, but I'm just a little confused. So I'm going to go back to the previous, which was, you know what, I could just do this and then I could watch to the little end of it. Is it gonna load up? There we go. Okay, so it's gonna be, so var, let's see. Okay, so that was for var something equals something, I something positions length, then I plus plus, then that draw Winston positions I dot x positions I dot y. Okay, so let's go to movie reviews. So we did step 1, step 2. Now let's do step 3. Let's just go down here, for var, and then let's just pick a variable. Pick a variable, any variable. Well, I'm gonna pick the variable. I'm gonna say var wild equals wild equals 0. That, and then it shows So var wild equals that, and then wild, and then one of these symbols, positions, length, positions, what, movies, dot length, and then another semicolon, right? Yeah, and then wild plus plus. All I'm doing is just copying it, but just making it our own code. So let's do that. Why do you mean the type while instead of wild? In case you forgot, you could use like var while. So that means I'm gonna have to use a different variable. So okay, I'm gonna have to use the just W. While is not defined, I know. Just gonna use W for while. Unmatch that, and then I'm gonna put it right there. So what does it say? It says draw with so far movies. Okay, so I might know what to do here, just so that stuff shows up. So it's gonna be well. Let's actually look. So we did that stuff. Now we're gonna push the fill, align text, the actual movie text size text. Okay, copy that. We're gonna paste it in here. Boop. Your loop condition does seem right. You should be checking if the loop variable is smaller than the length of the movies array. So fill that. That's good. Text is, well, text is movies, that dot title, but it should be, wait, so let's just check 1, and then 200. Okay, let's, okay, so that times that plus that. So, I don't know. I don't know what I should be doing. Um, but if you guys watch the video, then it'll probably make a little sense, like a little more sense to you guys. But yeah. Um, so this is challenge movie reviews. I'm on the last step. I just can't figure. Like, I mean, I can try and figure it out, but I just don't know. What should I do first? But I think I might know what to do first. But let's just click the hint to see. So if you see colored blanks, the values you put into two blanks of the same color must be exactly the same. So let's go to this 50 and just get it out of there, and then the pink. So it should be 50. So 10 star, and then there is movies. So movies, movies plus 20. Wait. If it's smaller than the length, so so now we have to do this. It seems you're displaying the same movie for every whatever iteration of your loop. Instead, use your loop variable to pick a movie from the movies array so it displays a different one every time. So, let's see. One. So it's this one. I hear the super awesome movie, it says. You know what? Let's see. So 143, 123. So let's make this bigger. So like a 50-ish. Not a 50-ish. Let's just say 20. This could be something else bigger. Which would I don't think it'll need to be bigger, but let's just see that. Okay. 20 times movies plus 22. I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't know like what. I mean, I did say okay, so use your loop variable, which my variable is movies. Wait, movies dot maybe movies dot y, and then movies dot y. And you go back. What is this? It seems your property directing instead. Okay, I don't know. I don't know for this one. So title, call the review. I mean, call the wild review. Super awesome movie. Let's see. Your loop variable. Use your loop variable. My loop variable was movies. Well, actually, no. Maybe it might be the W. Maybe the W. You know what? It's the W. Okay. Okay. Oh geez, it's not looking good. Just need the... Oh, it's To Call of the Wilds? Huh. It's weird. And it's 2, super awesome movie. Okay, that's a little weird, but yeah. This text size needs to be a little different. Well, I don't even think it needs to be different. I think it can just be the 24-ish for that. I don't know why it's displaying. So I used my loop variable, which was W. So I think I have to make it so that it's one movie. So now I think that's really what it is. Okay, so for the, let's see, it says W plus plus, it's a W, it's another W. It seems you're displaying the same movie for every iteration of your loop. Instead, use your loop variable to pick a movie from the movies array so that it displays a different one. So, 2. Wait. Cannot read property review of undefined. What? It says it's the property of undefined. What? Okay. Zero, maybe? I'm not sure if they want me to add another movie, but yeah, I don't think they want me to. Okay, guys, it's pretty much time for me to head off, but first, I'm gonna just go over this review. So it just describes an object. Here's the object that describes Winston. More complex object. The example. and then goes array of objects, which you can pause this video at any time to view this, or you can just go ahead and click pause on the live stream. So yeah. Okay. So project bookshelf. So spin-off of project bookshelf. I think it's just spin-off because uh, you know so I didn't see any project bookshelves yet. So it says spin-off of that project for some reason. Try spin-off for just me to work on by myself. So this program only displays one book, make an array of books, at least two of them, and use a loop to display a row of them. Use at least one property to each book, such as its author, and display it on the book. And then two bonuses, and then all books on the shelf should visually display at least three properties. Don't want to make a bookshelf, you could also make a shelf of movies or video games or recreate the home screen of your smartphone. That's cool. Actually, that one. So, let's see. Draw shelf. Think direct. I can just copy that, paste it in here, and then make the wait, that's just the shelf. That's not the, okay, that's not the book. There's the book. I see the book. So, let's just look at rect and blah blah blah, that stuff. Let's copy that. Let's paste it onto that. Now let's get the rect onto parser error. What? Show me where. What do you mean parser error? I'm just gonna cut that out. Do you mean the type status instead of stars? No, I did not mean that. Actually, I'm just gonna use the rect. Oh, jeez, what the? It's just. So let's make a fill. So fill. It's gonna be light red. Okay, so so uh, So, okay, we have the rect. Now we should. So the fill's right there. The book title text is book title. That stuff. I'm gonna copy it, paste it right there. Oh, now it just makes the stuff red. Well, that's probably why the fill was there. So fill should have been black. Yep. That's weird. Yep, I'm missing semicolon right here. So now, let's see. There we go. Let's just make a title 2. Gaming with Anthony tips and tricks. So that's the title 2. So title 2, Gaming with Anthony Tips and Tricks. And it's gonna be for var I blah 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 books.stars. So let's just say stars 2 would be 10. I don't know why, but I just said 10. Just how many can show me where stars for? That's weird. Stars 1, I guess. Stars 1. That's weird. Stars 24. Now it's gonna be up to 8, I guess. Let's just get the for variable in to that place. This is gonna be right here. So book stars 24. What's that? That and whoa, jeez, I need to move those over. Those little stars over. So image, that's the X, the other one is Y. So Y would be well, x is I is what? A 0. Just change okay, I is 0. I want to make sure that all these stars get moved over, but I'm not going to have 8. I'm just going to have like 5, like just 5. And then var b, var b, var b plus plus, and then var b. Oh wait, that's the moving over the stars, okay. So now we saved it. Now um, author 1 would be, the string Miss Pretty. Please spell syzygy. By please spell syzygy. So I should also say text author 1, and the x should be 20, comma 20, and bang. Now it should be what? Out author 1. Author 1 is not defined. Let's actually just move that down and then get author 1 into the picture, the big picture, which is right there. What? Label author 1 on author. Show me where. Oh. This is statement label. I know, author. A-U-T-H-O-R. A-U-T-H-O-R. What? Out the 1. Okay, let's just get this in the text, like in the little text thing. Let's just do that, and then author 1 Miss Pretty will be up here. Oh, huh. Control Z. Author 1 is not defined. Really? Author 1 is defined, right? It is defined. Really? It's not defined. A. So let's just say A. A is not defined? Okay. Unclosed string. And it's gonna be cut that, and we're gonna paste it onto here. Oh, okay, so now we have a save shelf, and yep. Okay, done with my evaluation. Now I'm finally done with this. So the next lesson that we're gonna do tomorrow is object types. Well, actually, let's just watch the video for today, like just this 6-minute video, and I will mute my mic. So yeah, I'll just play this video and then I'll replay it whenever we get back tomorrow for a new for a new kind of lesson or whatever. But after this object types, it's going to be becoming a better programmer, which is 3 things. There's 2 videos, I think, and then there's let's check actually. There's there's a document, there's a video, and a document for that. Okay, let's watch the video.
Now that you understand the basics of JavaScript, I want to teach you about a cool way of using JavaScript, something we call object-oriented programming. But first, we need to understand why it's actually useful. So I put together a program that will be better once we make it more object-oriented. Now, it's a pretty cool program to start with. At the top, I have 2 variables that store simple object literals inside. Now, the object literal is the kind of object we learned about before, that we create with 2 curly braces, and then we put all these property names and values inside. So we have 2 of those object literal variables, and then down here we have this function drawWinston, which expects a single argument, and then it draws an image based on the x and y properties of the object, and then a caption based on the nickname and age properties of that object. And now finally at the bottom we call drawWinston on the teen and on the adult, and that's what makes it show up. Pretty cool. Now if we go up here and we look at these object literals, notice something about them is that they're really similar looking. Both of them have the same sets of properties, and both of them can be used by the same drawWinston function. In fact, if you think about this, they're really both describing a type of Winston, right? And we can think like maybe there's this kind of abstract type of Winston in the world, and every Winston has the same set of properties like a nickname and an age and an X and a Y. And here, what we've done is we've just created 2 instances of a Winston to describe, a particular Winston. So this is a teenage Winston and this is an adult Winston. But they're really both quite similar, and there's a lot of things that are similar about them. And if you think about it, that's a lot the way the world works too, is that we have kind of these abstract data types like humans and people, and then we're all just specific instances of those with our own little properties. Now, we can actually use object-oriented techniques in JavaScript so that these Winston variables are formal instances of a Winston object, so that they know that they share these things in common. So to do that, the first thing we need to do is actually describe this abstract data type Winston. And so we'll do that by making a variable, because we'll store the data type in a variable. So var Winston, and we'll do capital W, because we always start our object types with a capital. And we'll set it equal to a function. And this function is a special function that we call a constructor function, because this is what's going to get called every time we want to create a new Winston instance. So we want to create a teenage Winston, we'll call this function, or an adult Winston, we'll call this function. So that means that this function should take whatever arguments it needs to know about in order to make a full Winston. So in this case, it needs to know a nickname, an age, an X, and a Y. Now, once we receive those arguments, we need to do something with them. So we need to actually attach that information to the Winston object. So we'll use a new special keyword called this. And this will refer to the current object instance. So we'll say this.nickname. So it'll say, all right, the nickname property of this object is equal to whatever gets passed into the constructor function, okay? And this.age is equal to the age that gets passed in, this.x is equal to the x that gets passed in, and this.y equals the y that gets passed in. All right, so now we have this abstract data type called Winston, and it has a constructor function that we can use to create a new Winston. So let's try to use it. We're going to create Winston teen again, but this time we're going to say Winston teen equals, and instead of curly braces, we're going to say it equals new Winston. So we're saying we're trying to create a new Winston instance. And then we're going to pass in the information that it needs. So Winston 15, 20, 50. Okay? And then we can delete this old one because we don't need it anymore. All right, and now that's created a new Winston. And now we can say Winston adult equals new Winston. And of course his name is Mr. Winstalot. Sweet name. And he's 30 and he's at 229 and 50. All right, and then we can delete this object literal. And ta-da! Our code still works. So what we've done here is that we've said, okay, there's this abstract type of data, which is this Winston, and we can create new Winston instances that have these properties that are unique to them, and we'll just remember those properties inside them. And remembering is really important. So inside here we have this.nickname, this.age. If we accidentally didn't have this.age, notice that now it says undefined. That's because down here, this draw Winston function, it expects whatever object you gets passed in, it expects it to have an age property. And if we didn't say this.age, then it doesn't have an age property, okay? We passed it into the constructor function, but then we didn't do anything with it. We have to actually attach it to the object using this keyword. So we'll add this back. Now you might be thinking like, okay, sure, you got your code working and you're doing this fancy thing, but all we've done is accomplished what we had before. But here's the cool thing. Now all of our Winstons go through the same constructor function. So if we want to, we can actually change things, change some things about the Winston, all the Winstons just inside here. So maybe age, we actually want to say years old. We can just put that here. And now all of our Winstons say 15 years old, 30 years old, right? So they're taking the part that's unique about them, but then they also have things that are shared about them. And that's the really cool thing about object-oriented programming, is this idea that there's these kinds of objects in the world, and you can actually create instances of these objects, and there's some things that are similar about them, like they all have the same properties, but then there are things that are different, like, oh, this property is actually a different value than this other property, right? But then, we can kind of, do the same behavior with them, like call the same functions, and use them in similar ways. So that's some of the cool stuff about object-oriented programming, but as you're going to see, there's tons more too. So stay tuned.
Okay, guys, we just finished that video. We're going to call it a day because it's 10:35 p.m. for me, so I'm gonna have to go. I will see you guys later in part 2. It's probably gonna be tomorrow or the next day, but happy birthday to my mom. Her birthday is actually tomorrow, so yeah. Uh, I'm not sure if I'm gonna stream tomorrow. I might not. But yeah. Uh, I hope you guys like this video, and I will see you guys later. Bye.